So before relocating to the US, there are things I wish I did differently, both financially, professionally, emotionally, and even socially. And there's a lot of things I wish I learned before relocation and even immediately after relocation. So in today's video, I'll be breaking down the things I think immigrants should do before relocating to the US or any other first world country. So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy New Year. And if you've been following my journey from 2025, I'm happy to have you here again in 2026. And if you're new here, I'm Nancy Ogutu. And in this channel, I talk about life abroad, visas, K1 visa to be specific. I also help other immigrants transition smoothly by sharing my own journey. So if you're relocating to the US or any other first world country in 2026, this video will give you an insight of what you should do before relocation or immediately after relocation. So the first thing you should do is build an emergency fund. So we all know that visa and relocation processes require a lot of money, and in most cases the amount of money you need or the amount of emergency fund you need is always determined by the kind of visa you're relocating with. For example, someone that is relocating with K1 visa will not need the same money as someone that is relocating with HB1 visa or green card visa, because someone that is relocating with K1 visa, in most cases, the transition is mostly financed by their fiancé, which is not the same case as someone who is relocating with HB1 visa, a green card, or even student visas. For these other visas, you'll need at least $3,000 to $5,000 as emergency fund to enable you survive in the US for at least 3 months as you settle, or maybe if you're looking for a job, because living in the US is very expensive. You'll need money for transport, you'll need money for documentation, you'll need money for food, you'll need money for your accommodation, because even if you're someone that is being hosted by somebody else, you'll need money to pay your accommodation, for your transport. If you're living in places where you can access public transport, you'll need money for your transportation. Also, you'll need money for food, groceries, and you living in the US is very expensive. For the few months that you'll be settling in and maybe looking for a job, you'll also have to have extra money for emergencies, because there's always emergency in the US. Once you enter the US and you're financially dependent on yourself, there's always emergency coming your way. So on to the second point, I'd suggest you have an investment or a saving plan back at home. So as someone relocated to the US on a K1 visa, I'd suggest you have an investment or a saving plan back at home, because with K1 visa, even after relocation, you still have to go through a lot of processes. You have to have a wedding and adjust your status. And in case your relationship does not work before you adjust your status and get your green card, you have to exit the US and go back to your country. So you need to have a small investment or a saving plan just in case things that didn't go the way you planned. And with K1 visa, there's no plan B. You cannot adjust your status or get your green card with somebody else, or there's no any other way you can adjust your status, get your green card, and stay in the US without your partner, not unless there was abuse, and adjust your status with VAWA. But in case the relationship does not work, you'll have to exit the US and go back to your country. So you need to have an investment or a saving plan to fall back on in case things don't go the way you planned. This is what I did. So 6 months before relocation, I opened a separate savings account, and my target was to save $2,000. So I saved the $2,000 within 6 months, and by the time I went for my interview and my visa was approved, I opened a money market fund because I needed an investment. I don't know if money market fund are considered as an investment, but I needed somewhere an investment or a saving where my money could grow. And so I moved the money from my saving account to the money market fund, because I needed somewhere where my money could grow with low risk and without much struggle. So if you're planning to relocate abroad in 2026, I'd not suggest you leave your saving in a bank account. Remove your saving in a bank account, because most bank accounts your money don't appreciate. So you can invest your money in circles. You can invest in a money market fund. These are two money market funds that I've used. You can use Sanlam or Etika. Those are the two that I've used, but we have over 15 money market funds in Kenya. So you can choose one that would work for you. You can also start a business that you can run remotely. You can start rental business, Airbnb, or any other skill that you can monetize. You can also invest in circles or buy shares or equity. So it's not only K1 visa that you need to have an investment or a saving plan back at home. As with all these visas, you need to have an investment or a saving plan back at home, because things might not go as you planned. Also with those other visas, you might relocate and get deported if your visa expired. You might relocate and want to go back home because abroad is not for everyone, and you need to have the choice and the freedom to go back at home, and you can only do that if you had an investment or a saving plan back at home before you relocated. So I'd also suggest that you learn a marketable skill that you can start with immediately. So before you leave your country as an immigrant, learn a marketable skill that you can monetize almost immediately. Learn a soft skill or a physical skill that you can monetize once you relocate, because not everyone starts with their dream job unless you are relocating with the HB1 visa or J1 visa, but you have to start from somewhere. So I don't support the idea of going the traditional way, just like all the immigrants have over the past years when it comes to skills, because most immigrants start with basic jobs like driving, braiding, basic constructions, caregiving, cooking, meal prep, cleaning and organizing. But I mean, it's 2025. You can do anything. You don't have to go the traditional way just like all the immigrants have over the first years. It's 2025 and the world is opening now for immigrants. You can study a digital skill, you can study soft skills, you can do content creation, you can learn social media marketing, you can learn a technical skill and monetize it online and work from home. So I don't support going the traditional way, because let me tell you something. For me, moving to the US has really changed my mind, because I moved from an environment where the average person was earning $500 to an environment where middle class earn $10K a month. Do you know what that does to your brain? So you have to be in a position to be able to pivot. You have to be in a position where you can learn and relearn. You have to be in a position where you can figure out several ways to make money. You have to be flexible to do more than one job. So you have to be someone that is open to trying everything. Don't be more focused on going to the traditional way. Like most immigrants, you will tell you to start with CNA, braid. Some of these skills they're good for beginners, but it is not something that you can do long term. So you can look into digital skills, because I've seen most immigrants that relocated to the US, and some of them are making good money because most of them went to trade school, most of them are working from home, and they're just doing digital skills. So you have to be open to try to find modern ways of making money rather than just the traditional way, just like all the immigrants have been doing over the years. So if there's one thing I've observed as an immigrant, is that the US job market rewards skills more than degrees in some cases. So these are some of the digital or technical skills that I've observed immigrants making money with: data analysis, software development, cybersecurity, AI tools and automation, social media management. You can also learn freelancing and remote jobs like digital marketing, email marketing, content creation. You can learn creative skills like graphic design, video editing, branding, and visual identity. Those are some of the skills that most immigrants are making money by working at home. You can learn some of these skills and get jobs from sites like Upwork or LinkedIn. You choose to go the traditional way as a beginner, because most immigrants, when you relocate to the US, you have to start from somewhere. You can learn how to braid, you can learn how to drive. Most drivers make a reasonable amount. You can learn basic construction, you can learn caregiving. Caregiving is like 2 weeks to 4 weeks, and you can be able to work. You can get your certification and be able to work. You can learn cleaning and organization. You can also get into the service industry. Yeah, those are some of the jobs that most immigrants start with. Speaking about skills, before you relocate to the US or immediately after relocation, you need to figure out your career path. You need to figure out whether you want to get into medical field. You need to figure out whether you want to venture into tech. You need to figure out whether you want to learn a basic skills, whether you want to go to trade school, because most people get the US and you get confused, and I don't blame them. I've met a lot of immigrants in social places, and when I ask them, how long have you been here and what do you do, some of them are still working in the service industry, and some of them are also still working at Walmart, and they have been here for over 8 years. And I cannot blame them, because the kind of confusion that comes with relocating abroad needs to be studied. And the moment you relocate abroad, mostly in the US, the moment you relocate here, the bills start coming in and you have to work 1 to 2 jobs in order to pay your bills. And most immigrants get stuck working longer hours, living paycheck to paycheck, and now they cannot figure out whether they want to go back to school and get a promising career. Most of them end up working longer hours, working 2 to 3 jobs, and it's just a circle, and most of them end up not figuring their career and bringing home decent paycheck. We also need to learn about the US tax system. So when you relocate to the US, it's a different kind of world because the US economy is run by the credit system. Learn about the credit system, learn about the insurance, learn about car insurance and health insurance, learn about taxes, learn how to make money, how to file your tax return. Also learn how to beat the system, because in the US is not just about making money. You also need to learn about to keep your money. And also learning about the US financial system will help you avoid debts and avoid debt trap, just like most immigrants when you relocate to the US. So also when you're relocating, carry all your documents, collect your original documents, mostly if you're relocating with an immigrant visa that requires you to adjust your status. Carry all your documents, carry your passport, carry your academic documents, carry your birth certificates, carry your medical reports, carry all the documents that you need so you don't have to depend on your family to send your documents through DHL. Also, if you're someone that you have your first degree and you're not thinking of maintaining the same career, still carry all those documents. Carry your Form 4 certificate, carry your first degree or your first diploma that you already have in your country. You may need those documents when you start figuring out your career, or maybe when you need a certification or something. Carry all the documents with you. Don't leave any documents behind and depend on your family to send the documents once you relocate. Social and emotional preparation. So life in the US is great, but it is not instant. The America you see in the movies is not the America you're coming to experience the first few years. It might take you 5 years, 10 years, or even more to achieve your American dream. Do not overpromise your family. Do not be that one immigrant that overpromises, and then when you get here you realize that the America you are expecting is not the America you're experiencing. Have genuine conversation with your families. Do not promise your parents that you'll build them a house and then when you get here the struggle is real. Have honest conversation with your family so they don't expect much from you, and always support your families when you can with the little that you have, but do not overpromise. So relocating to the US is such a blessing, but your success depends on how well you prepare before you leave and immediately after you relocate, both financially, professionally, emotionally, and skill-wise. So if you're relocating to the US in 2026, I wish you all the best. And if this video was helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also share this video with anyone that is relocating to the US in 2026. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.